So in the news this morning I read that Israel is sending a large shipment of medical supplies, including ventilators and oxygen machines, to India because tragically there's been a very large wave of COVID cases where hundreds of thousands of people are being diagnosed each day with COVID, and sadly many thousands are dying each and every day. So as a result of that, Israel is mobilizing a force, as they always do, to go provide aid to other countries in need, just like they were the first field hospital to land in Haiti after the earthquake. What is this called? This is called Kiddush Hashem, a sanctification of God's name. In this week's Torah portion, we have the commandment that every Jew must sanctify God's name and not desecrate God's name. Now, what does this mean? Kiddush Hashem. So a name is the way a person is known to others. Your name is your reputation. Well, God also has a reputation. Just like every parent's reputation is connected to their children's reputation, when your children excel in life and succeed, that gives you not just nachas, joy and pleasure, but it gives you honor and esteem in the eyes of others. Look how well your children turned out. That's obviously a credit to you. And God forbid, when your children do things that are shameful or disgraceful, God forbid if someone's child goes to jail, it's a disgrace and a dishonor to the parents as well, because they raised this child. Even though they didn't commit any crime, it's a reflection on the parents. The same thing is true with the Jewish people. When we do things that are honorable and noble and pleasing in the eyes of others, this raises the name and the reputation of God. It creates a sanctification of God's name, because people say, wow, the Torah must be a great inspiration and divine document because it fostered and bequeathed to the Jewish people this righteousness and this nobility. However, when a Jew does something that's shameful, God forbid, it brings dishonor, pain, and disregard and disrespect to the name of God. And so as Jews, we always have to realize that we are, every one of us, an ambassador of the Jewish people. And therefore, our actions will always be judged and scrutinized, not only on a personal level, but through the lens and the eyes of the entire perspective of the Jewish nation on a whole. And therefore, we must always strive to go above and beyond in our goodness, in our kindness, and in our generosity and our righteousness. And indeed, we never know who is looking at us, who is observing us, and who is being influenced by our actions and passing judgment, not just on you as an individual, but on the Jewish people as a whole. It's a story told about this Jew from Jerusalem, a religious Jew. He dies, he comes to heaven, and they're going over his deeds and all the good things he's done. And then they say, wow, look at this, you built a Jewish day school in Houston, Texas. That's amazing. The Jew says, I've never been to Houston, Texas. I surely never built a Jewish day school there. They said, let us explain. One day, a philanthropist from Houston, Texas, a Jewish man, was visiting Israel. He came to the Western Wall, and you were praying at the wall, and you were praying with so much focus and devotion and concentration and passion, and he observed the way you were talking to God with so much heart and soul, that this Jewish philanthropist was so inspired, and he said, when I go back home, I want to build a Jewish day school to produce more Jews who have such a deep spiritual connection to God. And so when he returned to Houston, Texas, he built a beautiful Jewish day school. And indeed, this goes on your record, to your credit, because your actions inspired this generosity. We never know who is being impacted by our deeds. So let us always make sure, wherever we are, whenever it is, we always make a Kiddush Hashem, bringing honor and respect to the name of God and to the Jewish people everywhere, and never, God forbid, do anything to disrespect or minimize people's esteem of Hashem and the Jewish people and the Torah. Have a wonderful day.